Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So basically in this video we'll be talking about the RAM cards. These ones here, the RAM cards. So the RAM cards comes in different sizes. You might hear people say DDR3, DDR1, DDR2, and for this one which is the DDR4. What is DDR? DDR stands for double data rate. So this one is a DDR4 double data rate. So double data rate simply refers to the falling and the rising edge of the clock speed in a computer. So these RAM cards are they are purposely used for transferring of data from the hard drive that is read by the CPU and for the computer to process. This little thing is very important. So when buying your RAM cards, there are two things you need to consider. What's your job type? If you're a graphic designer, if you're a gamer, if you're a video editor, or people that you do bigger tasks, then you are looking at a different RAM card. Not all RAM cards are same and do the same thing or do the same purpose of work. If you're just looking for a computer to type, or just something that doesn't require you to do video editing and all those work, then you're looking at a different RAM card. So I've got these two RAMs here just for this video purpose. I've got these two RAM here. This is they're both 16 gigs worth of capacity that they have, and they're both DDR4, like I said earlier on, double data rate 4. So they both are the same capacity, but they're both different. Now what do I mean when I say that they're both different? So let's look at the first one here. So this first one here, it's a double data rate 4 DDR4 16 GB capacity, a single RAM stick, or sometimes it refers to as PC4 PC3. So on this RAM stick here, it is 16 GB, and it has this here 2666 megahertz. This is what you will be looking at when buying a RAM card. So like I said earlier on, depending on your work, whether you're a video editor, a gamer, or a person that you will only use your computer for typing and doing smaller amount of task, then you gotta look at the right RAM to get. So they both have the same capacity, but they have difference in their speed. This one comes in 2666 megahertz, and for this here, if you can look properly, it comes in 3200 megahertz, which is this number here. See, so on different RAM cards, depending on what the company is or what company that produces it, they give in different type or different style of writing. So you gotta understand how they write. So this one here is made in Taiwan. So how they've written down the information is different. So this one is a 3200 mhz, and this one is made in China, which is a Kinsotin, and it's written as 2666 megahertz. So this here, what do they mean by 2600 and 3200? So this 2666 megahertz is for lower tasking people, or people that make tasks not as graphic designers, video editors, or gamers. So imagine you want to do a task just typing, you want to do your computer just for typing and watching videos and all this, then you really don't need a bigger RAM. You just need this type of RAM here, which is the 2666 megahertz, which is the speed is not as much as this 3200. Now this 3200 mhz RAM is for gamers, video editors, and people that do graphic design and they do production work. So when you're doing a production work, know what RAM to get. This is the type of RAM you want to get. You don't just want to go and buy a 16 gig or an 8 gig RAM without knowing the speed max of the RAM, even if it's an 8 gig or a 16 gig or a 4 gig, but you need to look for the 3200 mhz RAMs. Now for people that don't do graphic design, video editing, and gaming, you don't want to go for this one here. You want to go for this one, and trust me, this 3200 is quite pricey, and because of the speed and all this, so the manufacturers know what type of RAM they produce, what type of RAM they manufacture, so they sell at certain prices. So for people that not gonna do gaming, and if you're not gonna do heavy work like video editing and all this, you wanna get this 2666 megahertz, because the speed won't be as expected as this 3200 megahertz RAM, unless if you want to work seamlessly and you want to work faster and you want to finish your task on time and all this, then you could go for the 3200, which will also give you a better performance on your computer. But before upgrading your RAM, you look at your computer specifications. Does the RAM support up to 16 gig, 32 gig? Because some computers don't support up to 16 gig, they only stop at 8 gigs. Some support up to 16 only for most i3 processors, and for most i5 and i7 it goes up to 16 and 32 gigs or 24 gigs RAM slots. So you don't want to waste money on buying a RAM until and unless you know what's the capability of your computer, what kind of RAM can it get, and the amount of RAM it can cater for. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and follow me for more tech tips and ideas.